this is Emma, the owner of F.S.A.R Animal Rescue, and today I'm going to be doing a video about hamster care. So currently our rescue has 6 baby hamsters. They're all Syrians. We have 4 females and 2 males. I want to let you guys know that there is going to be a lot of noise in the background of this video, whether that's my family, my dog, or if you guys can see, my bird, or possibly the hamsters that are also in the room. So I hope you guys enjoy. What I'm going to start out with is diet. So our hamsters eat oxbow, but it is very important you know that is not the only thing that they eat. So there is a lot of controversy on what hamsters should eat. There is not a specific food or there's not a specific set of foods that a lot of people use for hamsters. It is very controversial, like I said, but we use oxbow and then we add in. So what we do is we have their just regular hamster and gerbil food, and then we add in other seeds like millet and a variety of different seeds that we use, and then we add in fruits and veggies as well. It's important that you look up a list of fruits and veggies that your hamsters can have. We like to stay more on the vegetable side of things and then add in fruits, a little bit more of a treat, which we will get into later. But a lot of people like Higgins Sunburst as well. And then there's Katie and there's other foods like that. But as long as you're getting a balance with your hamsters, got to be the most important thing. We want to make sure that they're not just getting that pellet, but they're also getting those seeds as well, because hamsters do need that. Like I said, that kind of foraging food. And then it is very important that you don't forget that hamsters need vegetables, and they do need fruits as well, because they supply them with a lot of vitamins that they need and supplement their diet really well. So yeah, very simple but very complicated at the same time. So as long as you're doing your research, and I would say as long as you're getting that variety and you're adding in both of those elements, or all 3 of those elements rather, those seeds and then that staple pellet that you can use as well. But yeah, there's a lot of variety, and that's just our experience is using oxbow and other seeds, just adding different things in, but as long as you're getting those veggies as well. So of course, look into other places and get advice from other experienced hamster people as well. You also want to figure out what your hamster is reacting to, as hamsters can be sensitive to different things depending on what you have. So yeah, let's get into the next part. So the next thing I want to talk about is enclosures or habitat. So this is arguably the most important part of the video and the most misunderstood. A lot of the cages you see online or at your local Petco or PetSmart or even any store are not fit for your hamster. And I never use cages at all for hamsters, which is a little confusing because obviously we're not free roaming hamsters, but we want to start to transition over to tanks and bin cages. Chio's nodding his head yes. So what does that mean? So tanks are your reptile tanks and your fish tanks. For those, I would argue a 40-gallon or bigger, which seems like a lot of space, but hamsters run a lot on the wheel, which is a whole nother thing, like I said, that we'll be getting into, but also they just need a lot of space to move as they're really active. A bin cage is when you take a regular plastic bin and you turn it into sort of like a tank for your hamster. So this might mean drilling small holes in places and then cutting out the top and putting wire mesh, if you know what that is. You can get that at your local hardware store. I love going to Menards for all of our animal needs, but either of those options are what's going to be best. They're open spaces. There are not tight bars where your hamster can get their body stuck into their head, or they are escape artists, and we know this. So bin cages and tanks are great options for being able to keep them in their enclosure the entire night, the entire day, and having no slip-ups. And as well, they are perfect space for them to run and get the freedom they need without getting stuck in these bars and in these tight spaces. I also would like to argue against tubes. I feel like we've kind of moved past that, which is great, but if we haven't, which I've still seen unfortunately a lot of these in your local Petco and PetSmart, they're not safe for your hamster. Again, yes, hamsters can squeeze into tight spaces and they can move and travel, but with just the pinchy parts of them sticking together and everything about it, it's not safe for hamsters. So I will get into this soon, but the next thing is gonna be on what can we have as an alternative for these kind of tubes and toys and everything. But if we can start to move over to getting tanks, and what I do is I get them off of Facebook Marketplace. If you want to opt for a tank, I know a lot of people like the aesthetic look of a tank rather than a bin cage. I love bin cages. That's what we're using for our hamsters right now. Well, most of them, we have a few of them in tanks, but if you want that more aesthetic look, then tanks are great. I love using Facebook Marketplace, super cheap. Even Craigslist, if you can't find anything in your area on Facebook Marketplace, super cheap, sometimes even for free. Clean that out and it would be perfect for your hamster. And then if you have a bin that is the right size and is big enough for your hamster, then that would be perfect to kind of convert into a hamster cage if you kind of have the skills to turn that into a cage. The last thing I want to talk about in this part is very simple, and it kind of goes into the environment part, so I thought I would put it in here, and that is that Syrian hamsters, and this is different with your winter whites and your robos, which are the miniature hamsters, and the smaller ones, or dwarfs as they're called. With Syrians, they need to be alone. They need to be kept alone, separate tanks. They will fight. When they're babies, I understand that they can be together for a very short while, but when you're adopting specifically from us, and please don't get your hamster from PetSmart and Petco, which could be a whole other video, but they probably won't tell you they need to be kept alone or they will fight. This doesn't just mean for your male hamsters, this is also for your females as well. Please, please, please listen to this part of the video. Hopefully you listen to all of it. But these hamsters need to be kept alone. At our rescue, we're only going to adopt out one hamster to you for this reason, and hopefully for the people who aren't adopting from us, maybe you're in a different state or maybe you're just finding a perfect hamster somewhere else, please keep them alone. But hopefully this part of the video helped. This is very important, so hopefully you guys can find at your local pet store you want to support, or on Facebook Marketplace, the right tank or bin for your hamster. Okay, so I have Chia with me for this next part, and I'll try to keep it short, but the next thing I'm going to talk about is toys and supplies. So for your hamsters, you want to make sure that you have a lot of wood chews and a lot of things for them to play with. First off, as they do have their incisors that need to be worn down. It's not like you're filing their teeth, which is kind of common knowledge, but I thought I would kind of speak up about that. You can order those at a lot of different places now. At pet stores on Amazon is a great place to get a lot of your toys for your hamsters. But yeah, so wood chews are great. The applewood chews are perfect too, or if you have a tank, it's a little bit harder to do this, but I've found multiple ways to hang them up. Is hanging wood chews as well are perfect for your hamster. Or little wicker balls, if you've seen those before in pet stores. Make sure that they are treated properly, like the wood is, and it's the proper wood. But a lot of the times if you're in a pet store and everything, you have everything taken care of for you in advance. And then you also want to make sure that you have the correct hides. Hamsters are prey animals, so they need a lot of places to hide and sleep. It's also a great way to know if they're awake is if they're in their hide, and if they want to be out with you, because that's going to tie into kind of behavior and knowing when to take out your hamster. But yeah, they need hides, which are, you can see little igloos and everything. I love wood hides because they feel more comfortable in them a lot of the time. They get to stand on top of them, which is great because they get different levels to play on, which is really fun to watch as well. That's also another way I know if my hamster wants to be taken out, is if they are standing on top of one of their hides and they're looking at me and they're wanting to come out and play. And then there are your igloos that are plastic and everything, but you have to make sure that you're washing those a lot, as I've known those to get even more dirty than the woods ones, which is very surprising. The next thing is wheels. Wheels are super, super important, but you want to make sure you're getting the right size ones. We had a really nice woman actually donate some wheels to us, which are very large, which is amazing. She was super sweet to drop them off at our rescue. Your Syrian hamsters are different than other hamsters, and you do not want to hurt their back. So that means that we want a minimum 12-inch wheel, and that always says large, big, and it's normally advertised for chinchillas, which is very interesting to me because chinchillas, we've had them before at our rescue last year. They're a lot bigger than your hamsters, so they're going to need an even bigger wheel, but a 12-inch minimum. This is perfect for your hamster, as it won't make their back arch as much, and you won't have back problems for your hamster going into the future. Another thing I want to make sure we talk about is that hopefully we've gotten past this, but hamster balls are not okay for your hamster. They cannot be in a ball rolling around on the floor. They can't breathe. It stresses them out, gives them anxiety, and it's also just another example of something hurting their back. So hopefully this helped, and let's get into the next part of the video. Okay, so this part's gonna be a lot shorter, and that's just gonna be on lifespan. So unlike Chio here, who's gonna live over 20 years, your hamster is probably only gonna live about 3, I've seen more, 5, or even 2. So they're very short lifespan animals, and similar to other rodents like rats and mice. So don't be concerned if your hamster lives short, but also not that short, because unfortunately a lot of hamsters that are not taken care of correctly only live a few months or a year. Okay, so this last part I wanted to do a little show and tell for you guys. This is one of our female hamsters. She's very cute and very sweet. So it's going to be handling. This part is very important. She is a baby, so she's still learning a little bit. But one of the things I love to do is reinforce with treats. We have some puffs with us today, you guys can see. And she likes to just kind of be near me. She can kind of smell the food in my hands, so one of the things you want to make sure that you do is wash your hands right before and right after. Right before, you might ask, is because hamsters have bad eyesight but a really good sense of smell. So this means that they're going to be able to smell the food on your hands, and that can cause them to bite or nibble, thinking that your hand is food. Another thing to prevent biting is to make sure that you're not sticking your fingers right in front of them in the cage, as bad eyesight and good sense of smell. You want to put the back of your hand up to them when they're in the cage and you're taking them out. Another thing is try not to grab them, especially from above, as that they are prey animals, like I said, and that can be very scary for them. You want to hold them close and make sure that you're passing them off just hand by hand. You also don't want to wake them up right after a nap, and they can get frustrated from that, or right from a nap, rather, and they can bite. They can also get stressed out from loud noises and from just a lot of chaos going on around them, or being held the wrong way, and cause them to bite. So you want to be extra careful, and hamsters can nibble. It's part of who they are. They can bite, but you want to make sure you just know what they're telling you, and you can kind of hear or be ready for what's going to happen so you don't get bitten and you can handle them properly. So thank you all for watching. Hopefully this video helped you guys learn a little bit more about hamster care, specifically Syrians. Specifically also thank you to all of our adopters who chose to take in an animal from F.S.A.R Animal Rescue. Our hamsters are really sweet and we really appreciate you, especially for watching this video so you can improve the life of your hamster, and thank you for saving their life in the first place. We hope that when you take them home, you'll be able to learn how to handle them properly, you can tame them, and that they'll get to be in an amazing family and get the life they deserve. To anyone who didn't adopt from F.S.A.R Animal Rescue, thank you for watching this video, and hopefully you'll be able to understand a little bit more about Syrian hamster care. Thank you guys. Bye.